Hello, my friends. I'm Tom Slivick. Welcome to TSPN's News for Today, and let's take a look at our headlines. The Amador Water Agency gets a preliminary report on consolidation of system-wide water service accounts. Sutter Creek seeks Indian gaming special distribution funds for a police officer and a patrol car. A Martell woman was arrested last week after arranging to sell narcotics to a Galt police officer via a text message. An Amador Water Agency consolidation study says a central Amador gravity supply line would reduce rates for all water rate payers. Common Ground Senior Services plans its Ms. Senior Citizen Beauty Pageant for Amador and Calaveras County women. And in the second half of the news, I'll be speaking with Supervisor John Plaz about the Fire Department's consolidation and Proposition 172 Fire and Law Enforcement Service funding. So stay with us. I'll be right back after this break. Hi everyone, and welcome back. Amador Water Agency Board of Directors received a preliminary report on a system-wide water rate consolidation study Thursday, which recommended a 5% increase overall if consolidation occurs. Agency Counsel Stephen Cronick said the report was preliminary and would be brought back after work is completed on two proposed community facilities districts in Amador Water System and Central Amador Water Project. AWA General Manager Gene Mancebo said the study was a continuation of a 2002 grand jury recommendation to consolidate agency rates. The study included costs without a central Amador gravity supply line. Consultant Bob Reed of the Reed Group said the study estimated just under $8 million in water system costs for fiscal year 2012-2013, offsetting non-rate revenue totaled $1.18 million. Operation and maintenance consisted, 71% of the costs, and debt service payments made up 24%, making total revenue requirement of $6.8 million. The study broke down agency costs against shared costs and individual system costs and proposed an overall rate increase of 5% to meet revenue requirements. The breakdown showed $5 million in system-wide costs and debt service of $1.6 million. The bulk being Amador Water System plus debts in Comanche, Lamel Heights, and CAWP Wholesale. For consolidation costs, Reed recommended dividing rates with 50% based on water usage and 50% as fixed service charges. He said the best management practice would recommend 70% based on usage to encourage conservation, but he did not believe AWA should go above 50% because of its lack of operating reserve, and you need to have the income. He proposed a three-tiered rate structure for all residential customers, a uniform rate for all customer classes, and different rates for treated and untreated resale customers and Mule Creek State Prison. He recommended monthly service charges based on the size of the meter. Director Robert Manacero said the board last year reached the bottom line for reductions, and nobody in this room wants a rate increase. It was a conservative study, but it will help in the survival of the water agency as we see it today. Should it be more aggressive? We'll leave that to the taxpayers. And Director Paul Molinelli Sr. said the agency is headed in the right direction, and it has taken 10 years to follow the grand jury. Cooper asked about the 70-30 state recommendation for volumetric uses, and Reed said customers do have more control of their bill, but the economy can affect overall demands. He said the agency doesn't have the buffer of reserves to lean back on, and he would not suggest having a usage rate higher than 50% of total customer bills. Sutter Creek City Council on Tuesday authorized submission of grant applications for Indian gaming special distribution funds to partly fund a patrol officer and to purchase a outfitted patrol vehicle. City Manager Sean Rebay said the amounts are specified by statute per specific funding formula. The city is automatically eligible for $32,000 or about half of last year's allocation under Nexus requirements. The city is also entitled to apply for and may be awarded non-Nexus funding. Rebay posed an application similar to last year's Nexus application, applying for the full $32,463 to cover the salary and benefits of a mid-range police officer for 2 hours of patrol per day for a full year, a total of 730 hours. Rebay said the funds would reimburse the city for 1 hour of patrol per shift in the impacted area, and the request will mitigate the law enforcement impacts by providing for reinforcement of direct salary and cost benefits associated with the time spent by Sutter Creek police officers enforcing laws in the impacted area, including along the Highway 49 and Ridge Road corridor. Rebay also proposed to apply for $22,000 in non-nexus fundings to purchase a 2010 Ford Crown Victoria police vehicle, including outfitted and needing equipment. He said the vehicle will mitigate law enforcement impacts by providing officers with traffic control and law enforcement vehicle. Because the application is under the non-nexus category, the city will compete for the funding with other local governments in Amador County. A total of $123,000 in non-nexus funds are available this year, and the non-nexus grants have normally gone to the county to offset its impacts, Reby said, and grant applications are submitted for consideration by the Indian Gaming Local Community Benefit Committee, comprised of 2 members of the Board of Supervisors, 2 members of the City of Jackson Council, a member of the Sutter Creek City Council, Mirinda Lyanda, and 2 members of the tribe. Upon approval, the committee forwards the application to the state for funding. Rebay said the Special Distribution Fund grant proposals were approved by the council, and the application will be submitted to the Local Benefit Committee on Friday, the due date. And grant funding for California's Indian Gaming Special Distribution Fund is available to counties, cities, and special districts impacted by tribal gaming. Rebay said grant applications must meet stringent nexus requirements to the impacts of Indian gaming on the city. The Special Distribution Fund was established for the receipt and deposit of money received by the state of California from Indian tribes pursuant to the terms of their gaming compacts. In Amador County, the Jackson Rancheria Band of Miwok Indians operates the Jackson Rancheria Casino and Hotel and pays into the SDF. A Martell woman was arrested last week after sending a text cell phone message to a Galt police officer and asking him if he wanted to purchase narcotics. Amador County Combined Narcotics Enforcement Team released details of the arrest Wednesday, saying that Heather Dawn Busby, 22, of Martell, was charged with sales of a controlled substance and violation of probation and was booked into the Amador County Jail on March 16th. Amador County Undersheriff Jim Wagner said that at about 10:50 a.m. on Friday, March 16th, a Galt police officer contacted the supervisor of the Amador County Combined Narcotics Enforcement Team, that's ACNET, and the officer told the ACNET agent he had received a text message from a person identifying themselves as Heather and offering to sell him tablets of Vicodin, a semi-synthetic narcotic used as a prescription painkiller. The Galt officer did not know Heather and surmised that she had sent the text to a wrong number. The officer tried to negotiate the transaction to occur in Galt. However, the woman did not have transportation and wanted the transaction to occur near her home in Amador County. The ACNET agent directed the Galt officer to arrange the transaction to occur later that afternoon in a parking lot in Martell, and the officer contacted Heather and she agreed. At approximately 1:15 p.m., a female subject approached the unmarked ACNET vehicle and made contact with the ACNET agent. The female subject got into the vehicle and handed the ACNET agent 20 tablets of Vicodin, and the female subject then asked where her normal client was. At the time, the ACNET agent identified himself, and Heather Dawn Busby, 22, of Martell, was taken into custody. Amador County Sheriff's detectives assisted ACNET with operation, and Amador County probation officer and an Amador County Sheriff's canine assisted ACNET with the probation search of Busby's residence. Immediately following her arrest, evidence was associated with the transaction and was recovered. Amador Water Agency Board of Directors on Thursday heard a report on a study of water system consolidation, which is said the gravity supply line would reduce rates for all water customers. Bob Reed of the Reed Group recommended that overall rates be raised 5% if the agency consolidated its water systems, but the activation of the gravity supply line would reduce costs by $250,000 a year in electrical costs. In shared costs, he recommended a water system-wide pumping surcharge per 1,000 gallons, and Reed said it could be removed with the activation of the GSL to reduce all water rates, an average of $5 a month based on median uses of 7,000 gallons a month. He said all customers would have lower water bills with this system. Reed said the USDA approved a grant of $5 million and a $8 million low-interest loan for 40 years at 3.25% for the GSL were part of the rate study. He said the GSL project would cost less than replacing the existing pumps and pipeline in the Central Amador Water Project service area, which would cost an estimated $9.7 million and probably have higher interest and a shorter term with no grant. Without the GSL, monthly bills would be about $20 more per month, and costs would also be lower with a community facilities district in CWAP. His recommendation would have debt service charges differ in the service areas. Single-family home rates in CAWP without the CDF would be $64 in the proposal, or with the CDF would be $38. User charges in all single-family homes would be $13, and service charges would be $12, with debt service making the difference. Comanche's total single-family home bill would be $31. CAWP with the CFD would be $38. The Mill Heights would be $57, and Amador Water Service would be $38. The benefits of consolidation include a simpler rate structure, and they would support and lead to a more efficient accounting process. Director Art Troy asked about the peak period, which he thought affected smaller customers more, and Reed said single-family customers and smaller systems only had about a 1% increase in peaking, and the peak was based on increased summer irrigation. Director Robert Manacero asked if the study included PG&E's plan to add higher peaking rates next year. He said he understood it would impact AWA because you can't stop the pumps in July, and Reed said the study did not consider PG&E's future peak rates. Director Don Cooper said it's extremely conservative, and I compliment the idea of coming up with only a portion of those reserves. We need to get the public's confidence back. Reed recommended $220,000 in reserves until it built to $880,000, and also $160,000 a year for rehab and replacement. So stay with us. When I come back, we'll have John Plaz with us, so stay right here on TSPN.